Welcome to Financials with Ahawo. It's such a joy to be together with you again as we continue to build up on the Making Wealth series. So today we want to take a direction that's interesting. As I was reflecting on just how we're building capacity, I realized that stories are so key in our journey. Stories help us to relate, stories help us to share lessons just beyond a run through of things and a list of things. And today the story that came to mind is in form of a letter. And I asked myself, if I was to write a letter to my younger self, what would I write? And my younger self would probably be in my 20s, as I just came off from campus. Well, actually, maybe even younger, maybe in campus. And thinking through what I would tell a younger version of Ahawo. So come along with me. Let's listen through to the letter and see what nuggets we are able to pick for our own journey. Dear Ahawo, it's so nice to write to you from the future. You know, this technology thing has made us see so many possibilities. So I'm excited that you can receive this information to help you as you come to the place where I am. 10, 15 years ahead of when you're reading this letter. So let me tell you, this is me, fresh in campus, very excited to begin the journey because, first pocket money that you really don't have to account to the teacher or the bazaar. First time when I get to plan my fare, get to plan my lunch, decide if I'm going to save money aside for that pair of shoes, and not need to ask. So really a place of beginning to create my own direction when it comes with my money. And I'm telling you, there is no such joy as knowing that every shilling is mine to do as I will. But that's where the catch comes. The fact that every shilling was mine to do as I will meant that I had to sit and begin to think. The first few months of this experience had a lot of lessons, a lot of failures, a lot of successes too, because, we are learning to count the small things as success. Success is just showing up sometimes. Success is realizing today you didn't do as well as you wanted and aiming to do better tomorrow. So here we go. Every coin is mine, or so I think. So I sit down and I'm ready to experience. Every month I have to buy shoes. Every month I have to make sure I've done my hair. Or then there's the meals. And then there's the gifts for my friends because I realize, hey, their birthdays and things like that. You want to appreciate a friend or two. To my utter disappointment, all this exciting, amazing my money is not able to serve each and every purpose that I thought it would. It comes with its disappointments, but it also comes with its highlights because I realized that I'm on a journey. If I take the journey alone, then I will fail miserably. So for me, that was the first thing I realized, that I needed to take this journey with someone who had been ahead of me, even if it's by a few months, few years. So in my group of friends, other than discussing business something, or discussing who came in with a car today, or discussing how the lecturer was just driving us to the end and not finishing, we began to have conversations about our money. And I remember one friend who was coming in to study a bit older, having waited. And this was the first time we heard about putting our money aside, building it up, and then finding a place to invest. It sounded so epic. It sounded like we're going to make millions tomorrow, you know? So a couple of us are on board with this trip and happy to start making money. So we think through, we bounce ideas off our friend who seems to know a thing or two, and then we decide we want to go to the stock market. And this is Nairobi, Kenya. There's so much access, I'll tell you the truth. Believe me, 10 or 15 years ago, things were actually moving. So we find the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and our friend knows a thing or two, tells us how to register for with a broker. And we all don't know a broker, so of course we use her broker. And the excitement when we're all producing our IDs, first that you have an ID, you know. And it was so liberating in a sense, but also very humbling. That there are opportunities that can allow you in the small place you are to start off. So we learn a thing or two about the stock market. We learn you need to buy a minimum of 100 shares. We learn you need to understand the market, understand the company, know the dividends that they give, know the earnings per share, know when they close their books. Things that we're kind of learning in class, but learning more as we experience. So everybody has gathered a bit of money, and we each are doing our own selection, sitting down with their advisors, and yeah, we buy a few shares. So throughout the years that I was studying, I kept buying, increasing my portfolio, learning, and my mind was so open. I wanted to learn everything. And in all honesty, I was able to receive dividends of 300 shillings. I was able to see certain shares move. And then I say, oh, let me sell a few and get back some money. And it was really that place of just getting to engage. So a few years in, and just as I'm finishing studying, we hear that the stockbroker that we are dealing with is in trouble. Red flags. What have we been doing? I tell you, dear Ahawo, there was no sleepless days than the few weeks it took for us to realize our fate after this said broker actually went down. Here we are, young people who refused to buy the extra drink so you could put the money aside, who decided to operate with 3 pairs of shoes instead of 10 so you could put the money aside, who decided to have lunch only and no snack in between so there's something to put aside, are just watching our quote-unquote life savings go up in smoke. It took another 2 years before our funds could be moved, and then the shares were released and we could trade again through another stockbroker. So all was not lost, but the weight was there for us to be able to trade our funds. And why do I share this story? I share the story because I realized these are the things that have been part of my journey. These are the things that I'm glad I was able to engage in. It's one of the positives. There are other stories to share, but for me, I think it's such an all-rounded and positive story to share because it had its experiences, it had its adventure, it had its really low moments, but most of all, it had its sharpening for me. So even as you think through your journey, even as you're planning and seeing the possibilities and at the same time seeing the impossibilities, I just close this letter with one word. It's going to take you to get to where you want to go. People will come and help you with your journey. Opportunities will come and seem like the best, but it's going to take you to get you to where you want to go with your finances. I close that letter and I say yours truly, Ahawo. I'll be doing a follow-up later soon. Thank you.